to today's episode of Tiffany Unpacks in Portland. On today's episode, we're going to be opening Box O Games number 15. Where's my box cutter? Let's do this! Yeah, definitely need a new blade in this guy. La la la! Ooh, 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 ooh. Yes, very nice, very nice. Alright. First off, in this game, we have card holder trays. I got these after Gen Con because Tasty Mental Games for the Bomb Squad setup had these awesome trays, which made it super helpful for people to like see your cards and opponents to share information. It's also really helpful if you're playing a card game with like kids or something, or if you're like eating and playing. These come in handy. These come in handy. So if you're ever like sitting there going, I wish I had something to hold my hand of cards toward me, card trays. They're available on Amazon. They come in 2 in a pack, so if you want 4, you have to buy 2 packs. Not 2-pack, just 2 packs. Next up, we have a card mat. This one is an Eminent Domain playmat, signed by the designer, Seth Jeffy. I really like card playmats. I have a few because on games where there's like a central market, similar to Eminent Domain, or something like that, I find that it's nice to have a card mat so it's easier to pick up cards and it's easier to slide around cards. I pull out card mats for a lot of games. Tickets to Ride, I like tuck it on the side of the board. Core Worlds, I put the market on the mat. Card mats are super helpful. We do have a grip mat, which also makes picking up cards easier, but it's very grippy, so stuff doesn't slide around. So if we're playing a game where there's a lot of card sliding and movement, I usually tuck a card mat somewhere under the cards. So yeah, I have another card mat here. This one is my One Night Ultimate Werewolf card mat. This one I really like for one night, and they designed this, Ted designed this specifically so that you put all of the player cards in the moon. And so, yeah, it's just a nice mat. And this one's, I think this one's like extra long or something. They designed this one to be longer. So, I like card mats. I have another one that's just plain, boring green. That was like the first one I ever bought, and then I decided I wanted to get the Eminent Domain one because I liked Eminent Domain, and One Night because I like One Night. So there you go. Alright, first up in the games, filler game, we have 7 Dragons. 7 Dragons is a card placement game where you have to place your card on the board where there's like these like, every card has divided spaces with colored dragons, and when you place a card it has to touch another dragon of that color, at least on that one spot, like a little bit, and the first person to make a run of 7 connected dragons wins. This is from Looney Labs. It's designed, I think, just by Looney Labs. It's 2 to 5 players, 6 is up, 10 to 30 minutes. I like this game for quick filler nonsense, but I actually don't like this game enough to hold on to it. So I think we're going to add this game to the Family Game Day collection, which is, I believe, why I packed it and brought it and didn't include it in the charity auction. Family Game Day boxes. So I like to run this event called Family Game Day, where I have these like big tubs of boxes from my own collection and games that were donated by publishers, and I have it at community centers or libraries, and people can come and play, and like we have volunteers on staff to teach people how to play the games, and it's just to like get people into the hobby of playing games that normally don't. And it's not a babysitter service, even though some parents seem to think it is. And so I really like to put games that are good intro, lighter filler games that really appeal to the people that aren't gamers in that game collection. And so I think this one's gonna go downstairs into the Family Game Day tubs. So yeah. Okay, so this is slightly broken, but this is my pocket version of Jungle Speed. So this is the Silver Dark edition, and it comes with this ring that doesn't really work. And the Jungle Speed totem is just a plastic one that you can untwist. But I really like Jungle Speed. It's a real-time, quick reaction game that can get pretty dangerous. I like this travel one because it's really easy to toss in my pack and bring with me places where I know I will be running into people that aren't necessarily gamers, and I might want to play a game. The great thing about this is you can really scale it up. I know there's an official player count, but I don't care. I've played this with like up to 8 people. It works. It's silly, it's fun, people have a lot of fun. My brother has a full-size version of this, and we enjoy playing that when I go visit them, but I just have the pocket travel one. So here's my copy of Burgoo, which is one of Tasty Minstrel's pocket micro games. Also, This Town Ain't Big Enough for the 2 to 4 of us. And oh, here's my copy of Coinage. I don't use the stickers. There's like a sticker sheet, coins, I don't use that. And then here's a copy. Here is my copy of Province, which is in a different bag than what it came in, which is weird. But Province is a micro game that I really enjoy. I actually enjoy almost all of these. I'm not the biggest fan of Burgoo. Steve and I played it once and we just weren't really impressed. We really were impressed, and like This Town Ain't Big Enough for the 2 or 4 of us, which is a tile placement game, and we really like Coinage. I have another Coinage which is in a smaller bag, which lives in my purse, so when I unpack that. But I have a review of Province up, but it was a preview, so if you are interested in a good like 30-minute thinker worker placement-ish game, this is from Laboratory Games, and it's 2-player, and I highly recommend this. Go ahead and click this or link down the doobly-doo to check out that review. And I have a video coming relatively soonish about these games, so just have to finish putting the polish on it. Oh hey, this is the first copy of Province I ever made. It was a print and play, and I did the coins and meeples on pennies and cardboard bits. And that's my old work address, so have fun with that. So yeah, and I held on to it because I actually like the weight of the pennies better than the cardboard. But this is the Province copy that you see in that video, if you go watch that video. Next up we have, oh, this is a deck box which contains, it says diminutive domain microsieve, which it's not. So it contains imminent domain microcosm, which actually I just got my copy, my official published copy in the mail yesterday. Seth gave me this copy and Steve and I played it a lot and we really enjoyed it, so much so that we backed the game, and we actually have an extra copy floating around someplace that I will be doing a giveaway at some point when I make a video about this, because I'm going to make a video about this. This is probably one of our favorite 2-player games and it goes a lot of places with us, so yeah. If you haven't checked out Imminent Domain Microcosm, I call it Microgasm because my brain is horrible, but it's a 2-player game, takes about 10 minutes, and it's Imminent Domain in 10 minutes, and it's really well done. There's some very interesting strategic decisions to be made, and I like the fact that it takes 10 minutes so I can try a lot of different strategies like on the fly, and if it doesn't work I try something else in the next game. So there you go. Okay. Then we have Skull and Roses. I actually have 2 copies. Here we go. I actually have 2 copies of Skull and Roses because I like this game so much. It is now rebranded and is called Skull. It's a bluffing game, kind of similar to Liar's Dice, where you have, it's kind of that genre of bar bluffing games, where you have every player has 4 coasters, 3 with roses, 1 with a skull, and at the beginning of the round, everybody puts 1 card face down, and then on your turn you can either put a card down face down where only you know what it is, or you can make a bet, and the bet could be how many roses you can flip from like everybody on the table, and then people can up your ante if they want, and if you like go to flip them and you ever flip a skull before you flip the number of roses you said, you're out and you lose a card, and then play continues until there's only 1 person left. I really like Skull and Roses, so much so that I have 2 copies, and so that you can play with a ton of people. You can play with 3 to 6 players with just 1 box, but I was like, when I was at my last job in the summer, they do these things called beer bashes where they have like a keg and some wine, and tables and music, and my coworkers and I would play like 8 to 10 of us at a time, so I had to have 2 copies for that. But you can play Skull and Roses with just a normal deck of playing cards if you want to figure out the math on that. So there you go. Next up, Friday. Friday is a solo game by Friedemann Friis. It is probably the most played solo game that I've seen / heard about people playing. It's obviously a 1-player game, and it takes about, how long do you take? Yeah, 25 minutes, I would agree with that. It takes about 30 minutes. Once you get really good at it, you can play it faster, but it's kind of a push your luck game, where you have to decide if you are going to, yeah, you have to make some interesting decisions. I haven't played this in a while because I have been playing mostly 2-player games, but I might actually sit down and play this once I finish unpacking, so hopefully I have time for that today. Probably not, but girl can dream. Next up we have Oddball Airnuts. So this, I have a few copies of Oddball Airnuts. This one is a custom one that Nigel made for me and sent me, and so it's custom because this deck, there's 2 decks in every copy of Oddball Airnuts. This one is TheOneTAR. So I have my own deck, and there's a few cards named after my friends, and I have a card in here. So yeah, this copy adds some stuff. I believe this is the 2nd edition, or the expansion that adds some cool new stuff to the game. Steve and I played this back in the winter when we would go out to eat, probably more than we should. We would play this while we were waiting in line for food stuff, and yeah, it hasn't gotten a lot of play lately because I actually started putting the tin one in my bag, and so that one was the one we actually play more, but we should mix this one in and play with this guy more. Hey, that's where that went. My copy of Guys! Okay, well, so it's not my copy of Guys. So, I'm a big fan of Sentinels of the Multiverse. I really like that co-op game, as it's actually right here. And when I was at PAX South in January, they had some promo decks, and so this is a promo hero called Guys, which is basically like kind of a Deadpoolish character. And so I haven't had a chance to put it in my copy of Sentinels of the Multiverse because life has been super crazy, but I will do that here in a minute when I pull it out. Roll For It! This is the Gen Con Deluxe version of Roll For It. This is basically the same exact thing as the Roll For It Deluxe Edition, which is a gold tin, designed by Chris Leader, published by, I always want to call them Cantaloupe Game. It's Calliope Games. But this tin combines both the base sets of Roll For It, and then just has, it has this nice, I love the deluxe edition and this edition for it. So that's a velvet bag that contains the dice, kind of useless. But inside the tray they have this like nice insert that's like a weird felty material that is really nice to roll your dice in, actually. So you can kind of make this sort of a travel game, which is what Steve and I have done, where we will play at dinner and we'll actually roll in the tin so the dice don't go like everywhere, so we'll just pass the tin back and forth, and also it doesn't make like a lot of noise when we're at a restaurant because people look at you weird. So yeah, but this is just the Gen Con edition that they had at Gen Con last year with the Gen Con licensed characters. So yes. Alright, we're almost done with filler. Almost. This is Ergo. My friend got me this game, oh man, Richard got me this in like 2002. It's a 2 to 4 player game. It takes about 30-45 minutes. If you are a discrete logics nerd, this is the game for you. So in the game, you are making logical statements similar to discrete logics, not the mathematical discrete logics, but discrete logics from the computer science or philosophy one. But it's super mathy. You basically are making proofs as a group together, and you're trying to make a finished proof, be the first person to make a finished proof, essentially, and then trying to like disprove that your friends exist. It's super, super nerdy, and I love it, and people get really annoyed when I play with them, unless they're also super mathy / logical. Okay. Oh. So then we have, this is a deck box containing a preview copy of Collapse. Collapse is a deck builder about kind of the zombie apocalypse, sort of, but it's an interesting take on it where you're not like fighting zombies, you're actually just preparing for some sort of post-apocalyptic horribleness. So there's 4 different things that can have happened, and you're like 4 different disasters, and you pick one of them to play with the game, like a nuclear fallout or something like that. And then the whole rest of the game is you're just like trying to acquire decks to be the most prepared for the oncoming post-apocalyptic thing. So it's a really nice twist on the theme of the world is ending. Not only because it's not about killing things, which I'm not a massive fan of, says the vegetarian, but because the art is really interesting. Steve and I, we actually backed this for a copy. This is only a 2-player preview copy, but I definitely liked it. The art is pretty spot on. I was trying to find a good example of the art, but it's just like rations, like you find food. The goal, instead of victory points, it's victory is determined by how many months you can live after the game ends, because in theory the idea is like something really horrible has happened and you have until the game ends to acquire all the supplies, and at the end of that it's whoever can survive the longest in terms of months that they're the winner. Brilliant concept. Really like this game. Collapse. I'm really excited to get the fuller version of it. So yeah. Alright. Oh, no, one more filler. Sorry. This is my really destroyed copy of the Apprentice, it's the Ascension Apprentice pack. So I did a video for Ascension and specifically this pack, and this pack has seen better days. I used to take this snowboarding with me, like this lived in my snowboarding bag for a while, and then whenever I was riding with my friends, if it was just a 2-person day, we would play it when we got to the top of the mountain for lunch. So this pack has seen better days. But if you ever curious about getting into Ascension, this is kind of underkill. I don't know, for 10 bucks more I think you can get like a full copy of the game right now, so this might not be worth it. But if you want like a nice smaller travel size Ascension, this is pretty decent. But it's not, there's nothing like interesting. All it is it's the base Ascension game with some cards removed, so it's like the size of a 2-player game. I would just say buy the app online. If you really, really like the game, just go buy a full set. I really liked having the Apprentice pack because it was nice and travel friendly, but I don't know, at this point in time, if I was buying a new thing, I would just buy the base Apprentice game and then like put it in a smaller deck box and take that, because it would hold up better than this thing. There you go. All right, done with the filler. First up, it's all messed up. This always gets messed up. I really shouldn't store it this way. Oh well, gonna keep doing it. The Little Prince. If you ever read this book in school or as a young adult, the Le Petit Prince, The Little Prince, is a story. It's a French story, a French young adult story written about this little dude who is traveling around, going to different planets, and the planets that he visits have weird little quirks. In this game, it's a tile placement game where you are building a planet. And at the end of the game, you get points based on the things that you have on your planets. Mechanic-wise, aside from tile placement, it is a kind of drafting, because every round there are in +1, well, no, that's for a 2-player game. For 3 to 4 players, 3 to 5 players, you just have in number of tiles out, where in is the number of players, and then everybody picks a tile that they want, and then you add it to your planet. And yeah, I really enjoy this. It's a really nice, light filler game. This is a really good end of the game night game. Also, this is kind of one of my redeemer games. Like if we're playing a new game and then we don't really enjoy it, and we don't have a lot of time, I'll pull out this and we'll play this, and then everybody, it's like a nice note to end the night on. So yeah, Le Petit Prince. It's published by Ludonaut. I don't, it's by Antoine Bauza, which is probably another reason why I like it. It's Antoine Bauza and Bruna Cathala, and I actually do a review of this game on the Mox Boarding House channel. Link if you click here or down in the doobly-doo. That moment where you freak out and wonder if you actually hit record. Okay, next up, Smash Up. Smash Up, designed by Paul Peterson, is a deck shuffle building game. I don't know. There's two different factions. You pick two factions, you shuffle them together, and then you compete over locations. It's a very, very straightforward, simple game. It is a silly game, as they would say, and it's about as light as Les Petits Princes. Strategically, there's not like a ton going on. It's very much like a reactionary card game. I am not the biggest fan of Smash Up, but every once in a while, I just want to smash some stuff up. And in that regard, it's good at that. So yeah, I actually do a review of Smash Up in an airport, because where else would I review things? If you'd like to watch my full opinion of Smash Up, you can click the box or link down the doobly-doo. I feel like I'm just advertising for my channel a lot. Ooh, the big beast. Sentinels of the Multiverse. So this box was upside down. Sentinels of the Multiverse is a 2 to 4 player co-op superhero game, which makes Marvel Legendary or Legendary just fall flat for me. It's in a fictional comic book universe where a lot of the heroes are kind of taken from, just inspired by a lot of different superheroes in a lot of different universes. But the whole thing is written like it's a fan-made game, or it's a game made about these comic books that don't actually exist. But it's really awesome because, like, at the bottom of every card, there's a quote from, like, they say the art is from the comic, and, like, there's a quote at the bottom of every card that's from a comic, like, it's numbered and everything. And there's fan sites where if you go and you piece it all together, there's actually a story. So it's super nerdy and awesome. But it's a co-op game where you're fighting, everybody's fighting a villain, and the villain is just, like, AI'd. This is actually basically all the expansions for, not including the one where you play as the villains, but like I even have the giant villain cards, which are awesome and show the double-sidedness. Yeah, I really like this game. It is one of my favorite co-ops. That's why I have a lot. Oh, that's the reason Guys hasn't been put in here. There's literally no space. Here, let me show you. I fit all of my expansions and stuff in here. Yeah, there's no more space for Guys. So I have to figure out some sort of solution for that, because I'd like to get Guys in here, because I like everything to be in one box. But it's I got rid of my other Sentinel expansion boxes because I was like, look, it's perfect. I don't need to buy anymore. I love it the way it is. There's so much in one box. There's so much in the base game, and then if you just add the expansion packs, you just so much more. But as you can see, the box doesn't close. Yes, I will likely be reviewing Sentinels of the Multiverse at some point in my life, but the problem is I just want to play it. I don't want to review it. Ugh. Almost fell on the floor. That would have been bad. Speaking of superhero card games, we have DC Deck Builder, which I did a review of. Click here or down on doobly-doo. DC Deck Builder is what I call the boiled down essence of deck builders. And I have inside here, I have the broken token insert for this box. Kind of smells like old shoes in here. The sleeved version is the base game. The unsleeved version is the expansion. I actually am not super impressed with the expansion. It's kind of ridiculous and broken, and I just don't really want to mix that in with my base game, because I feel like the base game is the quintessential deck building game. It is the boiled down essence of deck building. Theme wise, it's kind of weird because of, well, it's all in the review. Just go watch the review. Just watch the review and know that, like, I'm not super hot on the expansion, but I really love the base game. So there you go, DC Deck Builder, published by Cryptozoic. Next up, Terra Mystica. Terra Mystica is for 2 to 5 players. Takes about 30 minutes a player, and it's an area control game with like shrines and a lot of stuff going on. Steve and I have not played this nearly as much as we want to, mostly because of playtime, but this is definitely one of, I would say, our favorite games. We play a lot of new games, and whenever we play the new game, we always, if there's some similar overlap to Terra Mystica, we're always going back to like, yeah, but I mean, it's kind of like Terra Mystica, but like Terra Mystica does this better, or whatever. So if you haven't had a chance to play Terra Mystica yet, and you ever have a chance or an opportunity to play Terra Mystica, give it a shot. If you like area control strategy games with a little bit, you kind of have to manage an economy. You kind of, yeah, there's like this rondel with economy and priests and area control and lots of strategy. Lots and lots of strategy in that one. And it's not worker placement, which is usually my favorite strategy game. And then last but not least in this box, we have Plaid Hat Games, Mice and Mystics, designed by Jerry Hawthorne. Mice and Mystics is a co-op campaign game. So if you ever played like Descent, or I guess Imperial Assault, or Doom, or any of those campaign games where you're basically playing you against the game. I guess Imperial Assault's a little different. But you against the game, and the game has an AI with like bad guys, but you're all working together. The D&D games that they did, like Castle Ravenloft, right? Or Legend of Drizzt. It's very similar to that kind of style, where there's a story and you're playing through the story and you have these character cards and you pick up, you can play campaign mode or you can do one-shots. My friends and I were playing through campaign mode wise, and then one of my friends had a job change, and so he didn't live close enough anymore and was in town, so the campaign kind of died. But I'm really interested in restarting this campaign and playing it here in Portland and getting through the entire story, because we're about halfway through this story and I really want to continue. And there's an expansion. I know this universe, they're extending this universe, so if you have played through Mice and Mystics and you weren't aware, there is already another copy. There's another, I think it's standalone, storyline where like you take off in this universe, and I'm trying to not find out anything about it because I don't want to spoil the story in this. So there you go. And when I finish it, probably will be a review. But that's it for this game box. That was really full and packed. If you've been watching since the beginning, thank you so much for watching. I know that these are kind of long and long-winded and whatnot. I find that I'm enjoying making these. I'm kind of, one, excited for when this will be done, and also, two, a little sad because, I don't know, I enjoy ranting about my board games, and you are the perfect audience for that. So, yeah. We have 3 more boxes left, so not long now, folks. Not long now. Alright, see you tomorrow.